Hi, my name is Lisi B and welcome to my YouTube channel. This is my first video, guys, so you have to be nice, please. I know how you guys can roast people, like, you know what, you guys can be so brutal honest. I know that, and brutal honest is good. When we look at it, of course, in a constructive type of way, but I'm just saying this is my first video, so please be very nice. But I'm very much excited though about this, I must say, very extremely excited about it. And the reason I'm so excited about it is because I am personally very much passionate about young people, and I want this channel to be about young people and the challenges that young people go through, talk about growing up, talk about finding your identity as an individual, talk about your career path, talk about getting into relationships, talk about marriage. I am no expert, all right, as PhD would have it and all of that, but from my experience, I'm hoping that you're going to be able to get something from this. So let's start. Okay, so now what we're going to talk about today is your passport worth a visa? All right, so your passport, if you're in South Africa, obviously your passport is green. If you are maybe, say, for example, from France or somewhere around those world, possibly that your color might be different, the color of the passport might be different and all of that and everything. But is your passport worth a visa? So if you are in South Africa and you're South African, you need to go to Canada or United States of America, or you need to go to China, you need to have a visa in your passport. Okay. Now, when we look at it into personal terms, you as an individual, your passport, and the visa is your identity. So I'm Lee CB. I'm 24 years old. I've got purple in my hair, as you guys can see. Got purple and black in my hair. I am brown skinned, and I've got an accent that always gets me into trouble every single time I talk, because people gonna be like, girl, where you from? Right? But that doesn't really identify Bridget as Bridget, right? So Lissy B isn't Lissy Bridget. It doesn't identify Bridget as Bridget. It does not identify Lissy B as Lissy B. So what makes you? What makes Lissy B Lissy B? What makes Monica Monica? What makes Sibongile, Sibongile? What makes you? So it's the visa in the passport that gives us a direction of where we're going, right? Same applies to, it's our identity that confirms who we are. It's that particular specific identity that makes us stand out, because you can have 10,000 Lissies in this lifetime, you can have 10,000 Bridgets in this lifetime, but every single one of them is identified differently, right? Now, a lot of us young people today, we have a problem, or we have a challenge in a sense where it's quite difficult to find that individual identity, to find that personal identity, and settle in it. So you can find it, you can have it, but for you to settle in it, it's such a difficult thing. And I know it's so difficult because the social media makes it very difficult. And the number of likes on Facebook makes it difficult. The number of likes on Instagram makes it difficult. The number of, I don't know how WeChat works or Snapchat works, because I've never been on those platforms. But we are so much concerned with the world and how the world should see me, because the world has taught me that this is how I should look. So for example, when it comes to ladies, and of course most things are going to be referred to ladies because I am a lady, so I don't know much of what guys go through. But as a woman, as a young woman, as a lady, we are so much concerned about the outlook. We're so much concerned about makeup and eyebrows being in the right place, and or being drawn in the right place. I have no idea how that works. We're so much concerned about hair and what kind of hair we should put. Should Afro African work, or Peruvian hair or Brazilian hair or braids like mine, what works, and we're so much into what TV has told us this is what works. We're so much into what the magazines are telling us that this is what works. But is it really you? You know, are you comfortable with that person, or you constantly have to look over your shoulder? You constantly have to wonder, am I enough? Is what I have done good enough? Is what I have done perfect enough? Does it fit the standards? And as a matter of fact, who has set the standards? Let's look at that first. Who set the standards, and why should another person who doesn't even know your life, your background, where you're coming from, where you want to go, where you're at, why allowing that person set your standards? So a lot of us young people, we are very much facing that challenge where we want so much to please the world, this world that it has set specific standards for us, and it has set a specific battlefield for us, and we want so much to be in that. And at the end of the day, we want so bad to win, to win the eyes of people, to win this battleground, to win the favor of so many, that at the end of the day we forget ourselves. We forget ourselves, or we don't even get that opportunity to know truly who we are. We don't really get that opportunity to really express who we truly are. Excuse me. And that is very sad. That is very sad. So my question is, your passport worth a visa? You as an individual, do you see yourself enough, you know, worthy enough to be you, to be your own person, to be your kind, your very own kind? So I always wonder when a person says, "Oh, that person is ugly," and I'm thinking, well, who has set the standards of ugly? And as a matter of fact, what is ugly? That famous say that someone's trash is someone's treasure? I think something of that sort. I'm not very good with that. But who said this? And we are so much falling into the standards of people that we don't find ourselves worthy enough to hold our visa. My whole point is, can you as an individual find yourself worthy enough to hold your own identity, to search for your own identity? If you're South African and you need to go to China, you need to go through the entire process and all of that, going through the embassies and stuff and everything just to get a visa. That is work on its own, right? That is work on its own. So why is it so difficult for us people, especially us young people? Why is it so difficult for us to run after our own identity, to search for your personal individual identity and stick with that? I promise you, I'm not a PhD person, I'm not a doctor whatsoever, but I know for a fact that a person would never say, or a person will never get to the point where they're like 110% sure of who they are. But you can have a foundation, right? You can have a foundation. You can set your foundation. So your values, your goals, your character, all of that forms the foundation of who you are. But then how do you form that foundation if you yourself are jumping up and down? There is such an identity crisis that you don't even know what is what. Today you are someone else, tomorrow you're imitating someone else, the next day you're not even sure where you're at. You are a mess, a complete mess. Now, I know there's such thing as peer pressure, of which I believe that if you find yourself worthy enough, you're not going to let people detect you're not going to let people detect how you should be. Of course, there are those moments where you need to listen to advices and of course weigh what works and what does not work. But then the manner in which we are carrying on every single day of our lives, it's like, if I don't get 1,000 likes for a certain picture, on a certain social platform page, either be Instagram or be Facebook or whatever it is, and all of that. And for some reasons, that it has such an impact on your life. And I never understand. I honestly never understand it, because these are a bunch of people who don't know you. These are people who don't know what you're going through. So there you are, going to put on your makeup and look all beautiful and sexy and stuff and everything, and look like you've got it all in front of the camera and in their eyes, but deep down you're breaking. Deep down you know what, you just, you're a complete mess. What is the point? What's the point of covering up for people who are not, I can't say that, actually no, for people who don't care about you, because they are there for that second. When they see a great picture, they like it, and then they pass. Why? Why does it have to have so much effect on you? So my point is, you as a young person, right? You as a young person, can you find yourself to be worthy enough to search for your identity if you don't know who you truly are? Search for your identity, and once you find it, settle with your identity. Accept your identity, accept who you are. And the people who don't like it, well, let them be. Let them go, because your true friends are the ones who will guide you to finding out who you really are, support you, and stick with you. Not people who are going to try to make you what they want. It doesn't make sense. You are killing a person right there. So if you yourself as well do that to other friends, do that to other people, you must know you are killing people. You are completely just, what, you're destroying these people. You're destroying your friends, because the greatest freedom comes when a person finds themselves and they accept who they are and they live out who they are. That is the only time you will find the greatest freedom. Okay, so it's very, very, very extremely important that you as a person, before you start with the life processes, all of these crazy things that come up, because trust me, high school does not prepare you for life. Believe you me, I've been there. High school does not prepare you for life. But if you can start the process of preparing yourself to accept who you are, accept who you are and run with your identity. So even in cases where you're going to make mistakes, it's going to be okay. You're going to learn from them. In cases where, what, you've achieved something, you're going to be crazy happy and be proud of yourself. Doesn't necessarily need the whole world to know about it and stuff, but you will be content. You will be able to stand, because what is important in this life, what is important for you to move on in this life, is for you to be content with yourself. That's the first thing. You to be content with yourself. So, my lesson for today, or this talk for today, is just, can you as an individual, and this, I think this it goes to actually everyone, not specifically just to the young people, but even the elderly people as well. Can you as an individual, at whatever stage you're at in life, can you find yourself worthy enough to hold your identity, to accept your identity and run with it? You, as the passport, you are more than worthy to have that visa. Doesn't matter where this visa is taking you. Well, actually, yes, it does matter. But but what is important is getting that visa into your passport. Find out who you really are, what do you really want to be, where you're coming from, what influenced the actions that you did before, where you are at now, how did you get to where you're at now, where do you want to be, the circle, your circle of influence, how is that impacting your life, you as an individual? And when you are you by yourself, how do you feel about yourself? And do you feel good enough? Do you feel worthy enough as a person? Because only when you have fully accepted your identity, then do you feel worthy enough of whatever. Especially for us ladies, only when you have accepted your full identity of whoever you are, only then do you feel worthy enough to be in a particular relationship. So if you don't find yourself worthy enough, you'll probably end up with any Tom, Dick, Jerry that shows up, and you just go, yeah. So yes, I am hoping that this video says something. And I will see you guys the next time. So